Hi, I'm Larry Richardson, your step-by-step chef. In this episode, we're going to make a delicious lime chicken. Delicious lime chicken cutlets. And I live in Florida and I absolutely love to cook with citrus. I think citrus really livens just about any dish you can imagine. And it's a real welcome ingredient to so many of the different dishes that I make. So I really do hope that you love this lime chicken as much as I do. So come on, let's cook. So here are the ingredients for our lime chicken. First we have 2 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breasts, and these are pretty finely trimmed. If you get some that have, extra fat, kind of chewy things, and some bone in it, make sure to trim that off ahead of time. Nobody likes to eat that. We have 2 limes, 3 cloves of garlic. We're going to use 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of sugar, 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, and we're going to cook the chicken in 3 tablespoons or maybe more of olive oil. So let me show you how to put all this together. And the first thing we'll do is just make our very simple marinade. So I have our 2 limes. Oops. Don't want to have someone eat a piece of chicken with a barcode on it. Oh, that'd be legendary. Especially if they're walking around the room with a barcode on their tooth. So I'm just squeezing the limes right into this bowl, our marinade bowl. And if you don't have a squeezer, of course you can do it by hand. These are just so much easier to use. Here we go. There's our lime. Now we crush our 3 cloves of garlic. If you don't have one of these crushers, you can just mince it tiny. That's just fine. Okay. And if you don't really like garlic, you can skip the garlic altogether or just use very little of it. And if you can't get fresh garlic, you can just add, like a quarter teaspoon of garlic powder to this. But I do like the fresh garlic in it. Here's our teaspoon of salt. Okay. Our 2 teaspoons of sugar. Our 1 teaspoon of cumin. Being careful not to have that cap fall off, because I'm trying not to make cumin chicken. That's good. And our 1 teaspoon of black pepper. What I recommend you do, this is our marinade. So give it a little bit of a stir. And realize you're not going to drink this. This is a marinade for the chicken. So it shouldn't taste like something that you'd want to sit down and make a martini out of. But it should taste good. It should be limey, a little salty, a little sweet, with a little bit of spice to it. I actually want this a little sweeter. So I think those limes were a little extra tart. So I'm just going to add a little bit more sugar, and then I'll retaste it with a clean spoon. But this is a matter of taste, and this is why when you see chefs on TV cooking, they always run up the line taking little tastes from all the different containers. Well, that's why they do it, because the ingredients vary. But you usually do have a taste in mind, so I did add that extra sugar. That's better. That's much better. It's not so tart that that it would make the chicken just a little bit too sour. I think that's perfect. But again, if you want to make it with a little bit more sugar or whatever you want to do, go ahead and do it now. And we're going to set that aside and we're going to prepare the chicken. Okay, so here are our chicken breasts. Now, if you want, you could literally just put that in the marinade. You could just take a bag or a Tupperware or something and just put the marinade in this. But what I like to do is fillet it. Put your palm on the top and cut it lengthwise, and be real careful doing this. I'm working around a tripod, so it's a little bit of a challenge to show you, but I am filleting it. So instead of 1 chicken breast, I have a filleted chicken breast. And there we go. Now we have 2. And I'm just going to set these aside, and I'm going to do the other 2 chicken breasts that I have. I have 3. Again, keep your fingers clear of it. Cut it down lengthwise. This is really cool because it gets a lot more of the marinade on the chicken. So that's almost like butterflying the chicken. And I'm just putting it in a plate. Now, extra for experts. Last week, I worked with a chicken breast that was extremely thick. And I wanted to make chicken cutlets. So what I had to do, and let's see if I have a nice thick, these chicken breasts were pretty thin. I'm just trying to find the thickest piece. Okay, this one's reasonably thick. But if you want to make it even thinner and tenderize the chicken at the same time, and these chicken breasts don't need it as much as the one that I had last week when I was filming. But what you want to do is just put it in a Ziploc bag or saran wrap. And then you take the smooth side of a meat mallet. And if you don't have a meat mallet, you can use a sturdy, flat-bottomed wine bottle or a pickle jar, just something that is sturdy. I didn't always have a meat mallet, especially when I was just out of college, so I actually had to use wine bottles and pickle jars, and I might even have used a beer can. I don't think that ended very well. But anyway, so you find something flat-bottomed, use the smooth side of the hammer, and you just do this. And you can do that with all of the chicken breasts that you have. And that will make it more of a cutlet, a thinner cutlet. So if you have really thick chicken breasts, that's what you do. Now what I'm going to do, since I don't really need to do that to all of these chicken breasts, they're just too thin. They're already cutlets. Is I'm just going to put them in this bag. Rinse off my hands. And when you're working with chicken, have plenty of hot soapy water around. I mean, I usually have like a bowl or something in the sink, and it has hot soapy water in it, so I can just keep rinsing things down so there's no issue of salmonella. So be careful when you're working with chicken. In fact, I did notice, and I'm sure you noticed too, that I put this bag on the same board that the chicken was being filleted on. So I will put this bag on a plate and make sure it doesn't come into contact with anything else. So I'm just pouring our marinade in, zipping it up. And again, you can do this with Tupperware, and you can even just put it in a plain old bowl. The main thing is you want as much of the chicken in contact with the marinade as possible. And I'm just mixing it up. Just get it all mixed up. And here's your option. You can take this and marinate it for a half an hour, or you can marinate it for 8 hours. It's totally up to you and how much time you have. But just make sure that the chicken is mixed into the marinade. And you can make more marinade too if you want, but this is about right for 2 pounds of chicken. So I am going to set this aside, let it marinate for half an hour because we're doing this show, and you know, that'll give you a chance to take a break, maybe, I don't know, jog around, watch something on TV, have a snack, I don't know, check something. Something needs to be checked. I really think you need to get on top of that. But anyways, take a break, marinate it, half an hour, 1 hour, 8 hours, it's up to you. Just make sure the chicken is in the refrigerator while you're doing this. So that's what we're going to do right now, and then I'll be back and we'll fry up this chicken. Okay, so this pan has preheated. This is a skillet. You can also use a fry pan. Preheated over medium heat. Just adding our oil. Yep, that looks ready to go. Has a little dance to it. And here's our chicken. Again, it's marinated for half an hour. You can marinate it longer. The one thing I can tell you about lime, though, is if you marinate it for too long, it may start to cook like ceviche. The lime itself, the acid in the lime will start to cook it. I'm turning the heat down just a little. It's got a little splattery. So, you know, you might want to limit your marination time. It's up to you. But be aware, if chicken starts to turn a little bit white, that's what's happening. The acid in the lemon is just cooking the chicken a little bit. What we're going to do is basically pan fry this until it's browned, and make sure it's cooked all the way through. So it could take about, you know, I'd say about 5 minutes. We'll flip it, 5 minutes again, and then we'll see how far along it is in the cooking process. In fact, I think I'm going to add one more piece of the chicken to this. It's kind of a small fillet. And this chicken absolutely tastes fantastic on its own. Served with like I have a great black bean dish in stepbystepchef.com. I also have a cardamom rice dish, a black cardamom or green cardamom rice dish. All three of those together with this are absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to let this cook 5 minutes to a side, and I'll be right back. And here we are 5 minutes into the process. Let's turn it. Getting a little brown color. We'll probably go back to that side again. Oh, that one got nice and browned. This one was kind of sitting in the oil. And then we'll just flip this one. So you're seeing some browning action going on. That's great. So we'll give it 5 minutes on this side, and then we'll take one of the pieces and test to see if it's cooking through. If you want to see any pink meat, you want to make sure it's cooked all the way through. Or if you have a meat thermometer, you can just put that in there and see if it heated up to 165 degrees. Then you'll know that the chicken is ready. But anyway, so we'll just continue to fry it like this until we have all of the chicken cooked. And then I have one more thing I want to do with the marinade. So let's just keep going. And here we are. These are our last 2 pieces of chicken browning up nicely. And if the oil starts to smoke at all or starts to spatter too much, make sure you turn this down. You don't want to have an olive oil fire, which, you know, that just might be why Rome burned, for all we know. But, but make sure to turn it down. And I'm just going to put this in a Tupperware container. And then what I want to do is take our marinade. Now, I did check the chicken. It is cooked through, and it's very tasty. It has a nice limey taste to it. And but what you can do is, if the chicken was a little bit too tart for you, you can add sugar, some sugar to leftover marinade. If you want a little bit more salt, a little bit more lime, you can add it right to the marinade, and then just pour it right in here. And we won't let it go to waste. There'll just be a little bit of sauce with the chicken. Let's just make sure this gets cooked well. In fact, I'm going to turn that down to a quarter heat. And it also picks up some of the tasty chicken renderings, the gravy, and it'll add a nice little zing to the chicken itself. Help to keep it moist too when it's being set aside. And you could, if you wanted to, add like a teaspoon of cornstarch to this if you wanted it almost like a thicker sauce. But I'm not going to go there. But you certainly can do that. And just stir it right in here. And once it thickens up, take it off the stove. You could also add a little bit more water and render it a little longer if you wanted to. But I think I have it just where I want it. And I know this is cooked through, it's safe to use. So I'm just going to go and pour this on the chicken, and I'll see you in a moment. So congratulations, look at what you just did. You just made this delicious lemon chicken. You're absolutely going to love this with rice, with black beans, with just about anything. It tastes great in a sandwich too. I mean, you could make a fantastic sandwich out of this. If you like this recipe, please visit my website, stepbystepchef.com. There you will find a printable version of this recipe and over 175 other recipes. And you're also going to find a free step-by-step video link for every single one of those recipes. Now the other thing you're going to find is, oops, there we go, my cookbook, Cooking with the Step-by-Step Chef, which is available on Amazon.com. And I update this every November. I'll add everything that I cooked in the previous year. So this is 2020, it'll go from 114 recipes to around 175 recipes. And I'm just going to keep going. As long as you want to eat good food, I'm going to keep cooking for you. I'm determined. I'm absolutely determined. So the other thing is, if you're looking for a great gift for people, great gift for family and friends. So please check it out. So again, my name's Larry Richardson. I am your step-by-step chef, and I'll see you in the next episode.